Welcome to Golden Black Live, our Big Ten Championship edition. Some words that haven't always gone with Purdue football, but it's happening tomorrow night at Lucas Oil with Tom Dienhart. We'll break that down. I want to thank the Triple X family restaurants. Tom and I will have had a Dwayne Purvis or two there over the year, and that root beer shake. Pretty good stuff there as well. State Farm agent Trent Johnson. Trent is my agent.com. We appreciate Trent as well. Tom, we're talked out almost about this opportunity, but the Boilermakers and Wolverines will tee it up tomorrow night, Friday or Saturday night at 8 p.m. in Lucas Oil. A lot of anticipation there. We talked to Jeff Brohm last night. Maybe give us a quick assessment of where you think the Boilers are mentally and physically heading into this game.
Yeah, it seems to be ready to go, as ready as you can be to face a very formidable Michigan team, Alan, number 2 in the country, 12-0, going to the playoff, win or lose Saturday night, but they want to win the game, want to win the Big Ten title for a second year in a row. So, pick an area of Michigan, and it's a concern for Purdue. So offense, defense, special teams, a great kicker, on and on it goes with the plaudits from Michigan. Purdue's got its work cut out for him, Alan. And I don't know if you think it's an overstatement to say this. You've got good historical perspective, but put this game in perspective. I think it's one of the biggest games in school history, Alan. If Purdue wins, can you find a bigger win in school history than this, considering the stakes?
No, and the answer I think is no. And it's funny that nobody really is
opponent.
Yeah, it's interesting in terms of the people just not talking about, and I get it, but my gosh, Purdue wins, it's going to Pasadena. That part is just hard to fathom in terms of that. And I would agree, if Purdue would get this win, I can't find a bigger win. You did a good job in the story this week about talking about Purdue and Michigan and the chances that the Boilermakers had back in the 70s to beat the Wolverines, but that didn't guarantee them. They still had to win a game after that to get there. This puts them in Southern California on January the 2nd. You're right. It is. There are huge stakes, and yet you've written well about this week too. The pressure not on Purdue in this one.
They've talked about that. The coaches have talked about that. The players have talked about that. It's no revelation, right? As a 16.5-point underdog, nobody's given Purdue much of a shot. We get it. We all understand it. But, that doesn't mean Purdue's not going to use it for motivation, right?
Yeah.
And, that's, as we know, that's a great mindset to have, to know you have no pressure, right? No matter what you're doing in life. And you can sort of play a little bit more carefree, maybe be a little more willing to take a risk. Maybe, Alan, we'll see a couple gadget plays on Saturday. You're Jeff Brohm, why not? What do you got? You got nothing to lose, buddy. This is house money right now, and this is all gravy. If they win, hey, man, as we talked about, what a win. If you lose, you're still going to probably go to a bowl game in Florida. So just have some fun and see what happens, right?
Yeah, probably that bowl game, the Citrus Bowl, sounding like maybe against LSU, but a January 2nd bowl game is almost a certainty, one would think, from that standpoint. Yeah. Jeff Brohm loves to do that and talk. He even talked on Thursday night about, we're going to play with a chip on our shoulder to some extent. He didn't overemphasize that, I don't think, but he likes that underdog role. And I think you can sell that to this team that almost nobody is giving Purdue really a chance to win this game.
And we've heard the stat this week about Jeff Brohm's record against top 3 teams,
right,
as Purdue head coach. Of course, 2018, number 2, Ohio State goes down. 2021, number 2, Iowa goes down. That same year, number 3, Michigan State goes down. That's 3 times, Alan, and he's got a proven track record of being able to rise to the occasion. You not only have to rise to the occasion schematically, you have to be able to get your team emotionally there as well. And he's been able to do it. And this may be the biggest challenge yet and we'll see what happens, Alan. Just full of intrigue. I'm excited. Like you said from the open, this is something I don't think many of us anticipated. We all hoped it would happen one day as Purdue watchers, but here we are, my friend. What was Purdue? 1-2 after the Syracuse game.
Yeah.
They lost to Penn State, beat Indiana State, lost to Syracuse, and they barely beat Florida Atlantic to get to 2-2.
Yeah.
Then they were headed to Minnesota, Alan. Who would have dreamt, a couple months later, where we're talking about the Big Ten championship game. So it's been a season full of a lot of pleasant surprises. The storyline of Devin Mockabee's been right at the top, Alan. And of course, now we've got I don't want to call it drama, but just what Aiden O'Connell's dealing with
No
too.
question.
Alan. That's probably going to be the lead for the TV broadcast. They're going to talk about that a million times, probably what he's been dealing with. And that's a whole nother thread that's running through this week that's going to add intrigue and see how Aiden deals with this. Got to be extremely difficult time for him.
Yeah, was back in practice, as you reported, midweek, and yet emotionally, you don't know how guys are going to respond. We certainly saw Aiden respond pretty well, especially in the second half at Indiana last week, when not everybody knew what had gone down, and that was a credit to him. And what a story that would be. And you're right. Yeah. It's a tremendous family tragedy, but it's hard to minimize what this would be if Purdue could pull it off and Aiden O'Connell could lead them to the Rose Bowl.
You're right, Alan. I mean, just to be in it's this kind of stuff you write books about, right?
Yeah.
You make movies about. I mean, just unbelievable. Beginning last week, like you said, Alan. I mean, he's got to deal with the family tragedy on the precipice of, again, a huge game for Purdue against your rival with the Big Ten West on the line. I mean, my God. And now he's got to deal with that. And Alan, I was told he wasn't even at the meetings on Friday night. Yeah. Understandable, right? And it would have been understandable had he not even played.
That's correct. I think it was close, wasn't it? You think it was pretty close to him?
Close. It was pretty close. So, I mean, just unbelievable when you look back over your shoulder and think of, my God, again, it's just a football game, right? I don't want to ever overemphasize it, but it's a game. We all enjoy it. We make a living doing it. It's entertainment, but Aiden O'Connell had real life tragedy here.
Yeah.
And like you said, he battled through it. We didn't know what was going on. And he delivered in the second half. And we saw that emotion from him on the sideline in the post game. So unbelievable, Alan. It's just been an unbelievable week. And to an unbelievable season that who knows, Alan, maybe there's one more incredible, unbelievable moment.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see maybe what that final score is come midnight or a little bit thereafter on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's an 8:17 kick. So I'm thinking it's going to be midnight when we're rolling into that press conference. And
I need my beauty sleep.
I know it. You're the Iron Man when it comes to that stuff. You and Brian Newbert doing the late night duty is impressive. Okay, if you're Purdue, Michigan doesn't have many weaknesses. You've talked about that from the jump. This is a team that's extremely strong on both lines. They've got a 5-star level quarterback. Malik Corum's not playing, but they've got backups there that put over 200 yards on Ohio State last week. They have a defense that could strangle Purdue in a lot of ways. What do you exploit if you're Jeff Brom? What do you try to do to get the job done? Do you load the box? And then also defensively, do you dare do that? Ohio State tried that last week and it didn't work so well.
Yeah. I think poison, you can't stop everything, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like trying to please everybody. You can't please everybody. So you got to pick your poison here. And I think Purdue does have to pick their poison. I think that poison should be trying to stop the run like Ohio State did. And I know we all know they struggled. They got beat deep on passes, right? But still, you have to take that chance. And so I think that's what I would try to do defensively. Now, on offense, I think the key is the line. That Purdue offensive line, which has done pretty well this year, has got to protect Aiden O'Connell. Goes without saying, if he's on his backside, Purdue's doomed, right? So got to protect AOC. He's got to get the ball out quick, Alan.
Yeah.
They got to get quick passes. Maybe work the edges to Devin Mockabee, to Charlie Jones, because you can't allow 5 or 6 seconds for guys to get open downfield a lot of times. So quick passing game, protect AOC are going to be real keys on offense, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating game. And like I said, the talking's almost coming to an end. We have fun doing it. And we got a bonus week this week. And we'll look forward to your coverage like no other after the game and leading up into the game. Going to be fun to be in Lucas Oil, one of the great facilities in all of sports. Great opportunity to be there for that. And a lot of Purdue fans will be heading down to, was it Georgia Street and Market Street, and wherever you are in Indianapolis tomorrow. That will be fun for Purdue. All right, we'll be back. Chris Balas will give us his insight. Tom talked to him earlier in the week, but we kind of updated that interview with him yesterday. And of course, Raphael Davis will join us in segment 3 and talk Purdue basketball, another hot property right now. And then of course, his Crew Life Foundation too. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. I can't wait to get on to segment 2 of the show. Tom, thanks again. We'll see you in 2 minutes on Golden Black Live.